Welcome to the Sauce Pod.
Welcome back to the Sauce Pod. I'm Taylor, your host of the Sauce, and I'm joined here with Anna Claviter, co-host and editor of the Sauce newsletter. We do one of these podcasts every single Monday night. We usually release them towards Thursday, Friday every week, but we also release them on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, wherever you stream your podcast, as well as on YouTube. You can catch the video episode. Also, don't forget, we've got that weekly newsletter, and this is what we actually base a lot of our content around for this podcast, is some of the stuff that we cover in our newsletter every week, meant for creators, entrepreneurs, anyone who's trying to level up their game online. So definitely check out the newsletter. You can find us at thesauceffs.substack.com, and that is where all the goods are. You can also access the podcast directly there as well. Thanks again for tuning in. If you're here joining us, it is another lovely week online. Spring has finally sprung. It feels that way anyways. Easter weekend just happened, so happy holidays for those of you who celebrate, or Passover, or what have you. All are welcome here. So we've got a lot to cover. I do feel the definite shift in energy of a new season, new drama, new shit happening at Twitter that we don't like.
We're not here for it.
We're not here for it. There's a lot for us to uncover today. We're going to be talking about some new influencer laws in France, how fanfics, there's Gen Zers are apparently using this new tool new app, you'll have to explain it to me, Anna, called fanfics, and they're actually making money off of it. So I'm excited to hear about that. By the way, Clubhouse, that's still a thing. We'll remind you if you need reminding. On Twitter news, we've got the whole Substack feud, and there's a lot to unpack with that one. So I'm very excited to dive into all the Substack and Twitter shit. There's a lot. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about Twitter. If you've been on there lately, you might notice there's a weird Doge icon, Dogecoin. Little dog hanging out there. And Anna's going to help explain why Elon Musk is trolling us again. We've got some YouTube updates, especially around podcast news. So if you're a podcaster and you're not on YouTube yet, you might want to be. Talk about that. And then, of course, we've got some AI updates. As always, Snapchat. We've got some AI horror stories. And, of course, that fabulous open letter. I almost said open AI letter because technically that's what it is. OpenAI did not pen the letter, but there was an open letter on AI related topics calling for a halt to future endeavors, developments, and research and progress made around AI past a certain point. So we're going to talk about the broader implications and kind of some background history on that open letter as well. I'm excited. How about you, Anna?
Yeah, this is going to be good.
Let's start with what's going on in France. There's some new influencer legislation, laws, rule, whatever the equivalent in French to a law is. What's happening?
Yeah, so basically they're cracking down on influencers. So, and if you break any of these rules, you will face 6 months in jail and a $328K fine.
Oh my God.
So follow these rules if you're an influencer. So if any of your content is paid, the first one, you basically have to disclose that you're getting paid for that content. You cannot accept payment to promote cosmetic surgery or financial products like crypto. You have to label any posts that have any kind of filtering or editing on it. And then you have to add a banner to, or maybe I guess their social media platforms will add a banner to any of your risky content, like if that's gambling or that maybe promoting something that could be identified as risky. On the one hand, it's kind of nice that maybe, especially for younger girls that are on social media, if they're seeing someone that maybe is showing some unattainable beauty standards, that will be disclosed. You'll be able to see, okay, so they did get cosmetic surgery. I don't think it necessarily addresses the root issue of body image issues or anything like that, but, transparency is important. I just think the 6 months in jail is kind of intense if you don't follow these rules to a T.
Can you imagine what a influencer prison in Paris would look like? My God. Someone needs to make a movie about that. That would be so much fun. I mean, look, the thing is even in the US, there's been pushes to kind of like regulate brand partnerships and branded content with social media influencers or content creators. And
Mhm.
some of that extends to like Instagram. You see it in the form of like branded content label or brand partnership that you'll see a lot of creators will tag hashtag sponsored or hashtag ad, whatever it is. I don't think that's so much a requirement as is using like the specific label for sponsored content. I'm glad that there's like some of that transparency. It still
Mhm.
exists like in troves. You see it everywhere, TikTok notably so. But even
Mhm.
TikTok now has a partnership label, I think, when there's like a brand partner. I might have to
Mhm.
check that. But France be cracking down. I'm here for it. I have to say. I don't know about this like whole prison $328,000
Straight to jail.
straight to jail.
Do not pass go.
No excuses. My God. Well, there you go. Don't be living in France and not disclosing brand deals, you guys. That is the takeaway here. But I think it's also indicative of like the larger picture. A lot of times you'll see these countries in like the European Union will adopt regulations and legal standards that like in the States we're over here like we would never, and then like a few years rolls around and you start to see like the social dynamic change of that. So could it be indicative of something of the future? Maybe. That has a lot of implications, though. So we shall see. For now, be careful over there. What do we got on this like fanfic situation? Is fanfics like an app? Is it a tool? Is it a platform? What's the story?
Yeah, it's an app, so it's very similar to like Patreon or maybe even OnlyFans, but for
Oh, okay.
influencers.
Okay.
If you pull up their website on your browser, it's gorgeous. They have a really really clean website. But basically started to take off. You do have to be a creator that has 10K plus followers, so you get accepted into fanfix's like content monetization app, and then you can from there you can charge fans anywhere from $5 to $50 per month for exclusive content, or up to $500 for private DMs. And creators do
Okay.
pocket 80% of these earnings. And quite a few influencers are speaking out and saying that this app is actually like making them a lot of money. So there's one influencer, she has only 2.1K fans, which is not an insane number, but they
Mhm.
bring in about 13.5K per month. So about $8 each.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so Fanfics itself has like 10 million plus users and I guess 3K creators. So creators have about average of 200 fans on the app, and an annual income of 70K average on the app. So if you have 10K followers on whatever social media app and you want to start monetizing your content, creating some exclusive content for your followers, definitely check this one out.
So this is awesome because it's
Mhm.
like OnlyFans, but without the OnlyFans cachet.
Right.
Or like Patreon, but without it being only for like streamers and gamers.
Right.
So I kind of see, I'm on the website right now, so I definitely see like the aesthetic that you're talking about. Like this is perfect for, I can see use cases for not only like lifestyle creators and like traditional like beauty influencers and things like that, but also coaches like on a fitness
Mhm.
level as well to do like one-on-one consulting with people. It seems like it paywalls a lot of the access and content behind smaller aggregated payments, right? Because I'm
Mhm.
looking through it and so it's like $3 to send a message or $5 to access like photos or whatever, $10 for this. So it's like these smaller price points definitely add up. It's a great way to monetize. I'm totally looking into this after this.
Right.
I don't know why I haven't heard of it before. Maybe because it had the name fan in it and anything that's like fan, I'm just like, no.
What is that? Yeah. Yeah.
Like all, you know what
And
I'm
no
talking about?
yeah. No
Fandango.
explicit content is allowed on here. So it's not like,
Okay.
you can't like bring your OnlyFans subscribers over here or anything like that.
That's really cool. Thank you for sharing that, Anna. I would not have
Yeah.
known otherwise.
Good
I
one.
like
Mhm.
appreciate it. Let's talk Clubhouse because I think a lot of people assume Clubhouse just like went to die somewhere on the internet, myself included, up until like a few months ago. And somebody
Mhm.
was like, "Yeah, come find me on Clubhouse." I was like, "That's still a thing." I genuinely did not know that was a thing. Is there news coming out of Clubhouse? Like, are they still just like kind of trucking along? What's the deal?
So Clubhouse, 2 years ago, they were like the place to be during the pandemic and everything.
Mhm.
So I think a couple different like competitors came out of that. So this is kind of interesting to see. While Clubhouse is still standing, Reddit's talk feature ended last month. Meta's
Mhm.
social audio products disappeared from their app. Spotify Live, which I think was called like Green Room, it was a separate app from Spotify and it closed its doors. But Clubhouse is still hanging on. They do only have about, I guess, less than 100 employees.
Mhm.
But according to Bloomberg, they have years of cash in the bank. They're still sticking around. There's still people on the app.
I guess moral of the story is you can go start a Clubhouse room. You might not get a
Mm-hmm.
whole lot of traction, but like hell, if you're
You
looking
never know.
for an alternative to Twitter Spaces, which is also one of the notable competitors that kind of came out of this, Clubhouse might be the place to look. It's ironic to me because I remember like around the pandemic, but also coming out of it, like 2021, there was a lot of chatter around audio being the future. And I know we're going to be talking about YouTube for podcasting. So maybe this is like geared more towards podcasting in general. But it's all of these different platforms are like, we're going to bring audio to the future. We're going to bring audio content into the hands of creators and to listeners everywhere. Every platform is now having audio. You just listed several of them, Anna, and
Mm-hmm.
now they're all shuttering their doors. I wonder if it's chasing shiny object and like everyone is now pouring so much effort and resources into like AI and community building, or
Mm-hmm.
if it's just the format just didn't take off, or maybe there was like one or two products out there on the market that consume the majority share of listeners and users. Maybe that was Twitter Spaces. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know. It's hard for me to even tell like who's on Twitter Spaces anymore because sometimes when I go and scroll through, I'm like, nothing sounds appealing. Occasionally I'll find a cool one that pop up, but it's like it feels like nothing like it was like even a year ago, which is
Yeah.
wild. But who knows? I mean, podcasting is still here to stay and I don't think it's going anywhere, but definitely Clubhouse is sticking around.
He's
I
here
can't imagine
still.
it's probably a lot for them to just like maintain it.
So they're not dropping any new features or anything like that. They're just kind of coasting.
I'm here for it, man. What do we got next? Let's
You're
talk.
ready for
Oh, okay, let's get into
Twitter?
Twitter. Yeah. Yeah,
Okay, you are ready? Okay.
we're set. Yes. So, what has been going on? Explain at the like highest level what's happening with Substack and Twitter and what this like whole back and forth is.
Elon Musk came into buying Twitter talking about, how he wants to make this platform a free speech platform. We're not going
Mhm.
to really restrict anyone. And then kind of turned around, definitely turned around on that
Mhm.
and started just restricting different people. We've talked about some of those before. The one
Mhm.
we're talking about today is restricting users like capacity to share links to Substack newsletters, and then also stopping Substack users from embedding tweets into their content. So
Mhm.
if you're on Substack and you try to embed a tweet, a pop-up appears and it's like, this is not working. Twitter has unexpectedly restricted our access. And then if you're on Twitter trying to post a Substack link, you're going to get or I actually didn't get this one. I did test this out, so it must not
Mhm.
be for everyone, but a lot of users are saying that their tweets just won't send if there's a
Yep.
Substack link held within it. So the reason why Twitter seems to have beef with Substack is because Substack recently previewed a new Twitter-like, what they're calling notes feature.
Mhm.
That's very similar to Twitter. That definitely got Elon's feathers all ruffled, and he decided
Mhm.
to be like, okay, well, you're going to do that, so I'm going to restrict your access to, or restrict Substack to be able
Yes.
to, do anything with Twitter. So his history with Twitter is just starting to show that he seems to be very selective in his definition of free speech.
Yeah.
It's starting to lean towards more like he's just controlling the narrative. It's not free speech whenever one person is controlling the narrative.
Well, we know from the algorithm, we know from all of the drama a couple weeks ago about Elon Musk getting priority ranking on Twitter. Twitter is not the town square that's like the great democratizer anymore.
Mm-mm.
I don't really think it ever truly was under Musk leadership, but now more than ever it's very clear that the narrative that he wants to have publicized is going to be that version of the truth for Twitter. And there's really no getting around it. And, you know, it's not even worth like fighting around at this point. It's kind of like looking at alternatives. So if you remember the guy who did Elon Musk's Twitter files that he teased out a couple months ago, he had like, I think 2 like volumes of the Twitter files. I kid you not. This is what they were called. It was very dramatic over at Hardcore Twitter. So Musk released the Twitter files. And in doing so, he worked with this journalist or freelance writer named Matt Taibbi. And Matt Taibbi is the one who composed the Twitter files, which were released in the form of a Twitter thread, of course, very apropos. And Matt Taibbi got, you know, like kind of caught in the crossfire of him being the person who penned it, and therefore was very closely associated with Musk, you know, hence to forth, right? Like going forward, these two, like, so he penned a couple other things for Musk. Come to find out this week, like Matt Taibbi was like, fuck you for doing this with Substack. By the way, I'm going over to Substack full time to like do my content. I'm not going to be on Twitter anymore. And then Elon Musk unfollowed him on Twitter. It was like so petty.
He's like, I don't even care. I'm not on Twitter.
He's like, I'm not here anymore. And I think it's interesting. I think it's ironic. And I think that it makes me as a creator very frustrated that this move is happening. Like I was just explaining to you how over Twitter I am. If I didn't have people that I genuinely like love and connect with and have community with on Twitter, I would not be on that platform, and I would not choose to be creating content on that platform. There's still really no way to monetize. The only way for people to monetize on there is to be able to sell their products and newsletters, which Substack is one of them. So with
Right.
that being cut out of the picture, it's just, it makes it like really hard to have motivation to keep going on it. So I am looking at other alternatives. As you guys know, we host the Sauce newsletter on Substack, and we also are very active on Twitter. And so it's kind of a major bummer for this to have happened. And not only that, but like you can't embed tweets on Substack anymore. You mentioned, Anna.
I have to screenshot them now. That's so much work.
It's so frustrating.
I had a thought while writing the newsletter, while writing this section of it. I was like, what if we just don't talk about Twitter anymore on this podcast or in this newsletter? Like, what if we just don't? Because I'm mad.
We hate that. I know. Are we adding to the noise?
Like, we have to give you guys the news, but also we don't want to talk about it because we're mad.
Yes. We don't want to talk about it. We strongly disapprove of many of the recent news of Twitter, but it's fine. Well, so what I was going to say is that Substack recently wrote a great, occasionally Substack comes through with these like little gems as a newsletter from Substack. And they like usually will write about what they're doing for creators, what they're doing to help, you know, make the writing process better for the writers who are on the platform, as well as like for people who consume content on Substack, how they're working to improve the platform. And the most recent one, which was sent just 3 days ago, they go into a whole like explainer about how the Substack model is thriving. And they go so far as to like totally throw shade at Twitter, saying the proof is that the imitations are failing and the incumbents are resisting. And for example, today, Twitter started blocking links to Substack. We hope this action was made in error and is only temporary. Writers deserve the freedom to share links. Translation, basically, Substack is saying, we fucking support creators. We support the people who are writing and making content on this platform, which is why the creators are in control, as it should be. And for Twitter to kind of take this and put a whole like 180 spin of it and make it take truly all of that content out of the hands of the creators and all of the features and benefits that we would be reaping if we had more control. I'm just very passionate about this because it's so fucking frustrating. You spend all of this time and effort building something on Twitter only for it to go the way of the dodo.
Yeah.
Well,
and I mean, obviously no one's ever going to know where Elon's mind is, but where is his mind at when blocking something like Substack? It's like, dude, you're just being a petty little child at this point.
Yeah.
Like, think about who your audience is. As marketers, that's how we're trained to think. Okay, and we're not going piss off our audience. We're not going to piss off the people that's going to pay me $8 a month for Twitter Blue. Like, no,
I
it
know.
doesn't make any logical sense either.
Totally.
Which I guess we just can't expect that from Elon on Twitter at this moment.
It does make you wonder if it's like, okay, is this truly part of like some bigger plan to like create this vision of Twitter 2.0, or is this all just like one bad move after another? Because I find it so hard to believe that it's such a tech visionary who's done some seriously incredible things in his career as really just kind of like drove this ship into the ground. And it's sad to watch too. But at the same time, you know, it also, I think, creates spaces for other platforms maybe to emerge. I wish Mastodon did better. I wish that it was a little bit more accessible. I'm curious about how this whole meta, what did they say it was called? Barcelona might shake out. And then, of course, now with Substack Notes, which is a very Twitter-like feature, you can also now on Substack chat with people. Like anyone who's subscribed to your newsletter, you can actually open like chats with them the same way that you would if you had like a group chat or like a small community on Twitter or something like that. So the writing is on the wall that I think the space will be made for an alternative to Twitter eventually, if not sooner rather than later. But we shall see what it will be because we don't know who's going to win the race yet. But we're all counting down. I can guarantee you that. I sound like such a hater. I'm sorry. I came to this with so many thoughts. I just needed to fucking get them out.
We just need to vent too, guys. That's what it is.
This is our therapy, you guys. Yes. Thank you for being here and listening. If you are a person who like actually gets entertainment and joy and maybe learns something from this, like you are my people. We appreciate you so much. Okay, enough with that Twitter shit. Actually, you know what? No, we do have one more thing. We have the Doge. What is with the dog? One? Tell us quickly.
So I didn't see this on my Twitter page. Yeah, we'll make this one short. But Musk changed Twitter's homepage icon from, you know, the Twitter Bluebird logo to the Doge logo, which if you're unfamiliar is like the Shiba dog meme that's linked to that cryptocurrency. So we might not know exactly why the logo suddenly appeared at the top of the homepage, but maybe there's some news that could hint to why. So Elon is currently facing a $258 billion lawsuit alleging that he ran a pyramid scheme to support Dogecoin. And Musk legal team asked the court to dismiss that suit like a few days before the Doge logo appeared all over Twitter and replaced Twitter's logo. And then after the tweet, I have it screenshotted, not linked, but screenshotted here in our Substack newsletter. After Elon put out this like tweet of it's like a little Dogecoin dog sitting in a car, and there's a cop that's obviously pulled the dog over in the car, and he's holding up their like passport or license, and it shows like the little Twitter Blue logo on there, and the little dog is saying like, "Oh, that's an old photo. Like the Bluebird logo is an old logo. Now it's Doge." Which doesn't make any sense. But anyways, after that tweet went out, Dogecoin rose more than 20% following that tweet. So that's what else is happening over at Twitter.
This man and his market manipulation. He needs to stop fucking around. He's already gotten in trouble how many times? And maybe he never will. It's just annoying. Like, it's just annoying. I will give him credit, though. Like, his shit posting, I've always...
It's pretty funny.
Gotten a little chuckle out of.
Yeah.
Like, you're awful, but I will laugh.
He does do a great job. All the memes and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, that aside, let's talk about YouTube and what's going on with the podcasting side of YouTube.
Yeah, so this is a little update on YouTube in audio land. So there's a couple different larger brands or like online magazines that are really embracing YouTube's audio features. So this online magazine called Slate is making that like a core part of their podcast strategies. Like they have popular podcasts that I haven't heard of, but they're called Slow Burn and Political Gabfest. So they're taking those podcasts on their platform and uploading all of that content onto YouTube on a monthly, weekly basis to tap into, YouTube's 2 billion strong monthly user base. And this one quote from Slate's president was really interesting to me because I think the biggest issue, or at least what he's saying is the biggest challenge
Mm-hmm.
across the podcast industry, is discoverability.
Yep.
Sometimes it's hard for a smaller podcast to get discovered on platforms like Spotify and Apple Music, but
Yep.
YouTube makes it really easy because it's, all SEO optimized. You're able to just kind of search up whatever it is that you're
Mm-hmm.
looking for. There are some podcasters that have noted being kind of underwhelmed by the amount of effort that YouTube is putting into their audio feature. Maybe it's just taking them a little bit of time to ramp up. So YouTube currently doesn't support RSS feeds, which is what a lot of podcasters use to,
Mm-hmm.
automatically populate their new podcasts onto all the different platforms. I think at some point YouTube will get there. It just hasn't happened yet. But we
Yeah.
love YouTube, and it's good to see that people are still focusing on YouTube as one of their main audio options.
That's awesome. I mean, weren't we talking not too long ago about even Spotify making a move into video podcasting or going all in on video podcasting as well? So clearly, YouTube, it wants to get into a piece of that pie and has been for some time. I remember a few years back, YouTube was launching or getting ready to launch their podcasting platform, which I can see how some people might be underwhelmed with it because there was a lot promised there. The RSS feed thing, I can personally vouch for. As a creator, it is super annoying to have to we put our podcast up, the podcast you are listening to now. We put it up we use a platform called Libsyn. I think it's Liberation Syndication something. I don't know what it stands for. But yeah, all I know is it goes in there and then it comes out the other side and it's on a bunch of other platforms. And it's the best because you only have to update everything from one spot. And then to do
Right.
anything on YouTube that you want to put out, it's not, you can't just add the video to that feed and then it gets distributed and syndicated. You have to actually manually go through, unless you're using a third party publishing tool, which I think those exist for YouTube. It is still kind of a manual process. So I'm excited to see what's in store, though. That's a big deal for Slate and a lot of these other, there's a lot of podcasters, I think Joe Rogan included, some of these top ones that have done these exclusive licensing deals with YouTube for their podcast content. They can still syndicate it and stream it out to other platforms, but they have a deal with YouTube that's where the video is going. Otherwise, you also see people on I've seen people do podcasts on Vimeo. Spotify, like we just mentioned, is also bringing in more and more video focused content. It's crazy. I can't wait to see what these social apps look like in 10 years, how much they've evolved or just fizzled out altogether. We live in a wild time, you guys. It is a wild time. All right, what do we got up next? AI stuff.
Yeah.
Tell me about Snapchat's AI backgrounds.
Yeah, so this one's a small one, but I thought it was really cool. On my
Yes.
Snapchat right now, my profile background is purple lightning. It's purple clouds and there's lightning going everywhere. And it's not my favorite, but I just haven't taken the time to change it. But this option is really cool, and I'm not subscribed to Snapchat Plus, which
Okay,
is
I was just gonna ask
$4 a month. Maybe one day I will, but I don't use Snapchat enough to add another subscription to my list.
you.
But anyway, so Snapchat is offering to all of their Plus subscribers AI generated profile backgrounds. So if you were to type in something I don't know, a kitchen, you just want your person in the kitchen, the app will basically cook up a few different options that are AI generated for you to add to your profile. So you make those as descriptive or non-descriptive as you want to. We've already talked about Snapchat incorporating AI within the AI, bot or friend on the platform if you're subscribed to Snapchat Plus. But this is another cool AI tool that they're incorporating. And it's cool to see. I think Snapchat is doing the subscription model correctly. I don't think the blue check marks are the right way to go. It's pissing off everyone from people that have 200 followers to Kim Kardashian. Everyone's mad about this blue, Kim worked hard for her blue check mark.
This is a rite of passage.
Yeah.
You know?
These other people worked hard all these different years to get to their 10K followers and have all their links to their outside sources stating that they're a prominent public figure. And now here come these Gen Zers paying $8.
Yes, I did see somebody on TikTok making basically a shit post video where she was like, they're taking away my check mark. And it's I did so much. I went through hell to get that. Do you even know how many managers I had? And this is the whole thing. I'm like, yeah, people are fucking pissed.
I'm sure it's the emotions people are actually going through. It's the blue check mark is ridiculous. But
Yeah,
I think Snapchat is doing it right. They're paying attention to what their audience wants. They're making
exactly.
it, $4 is almost unnoticeable. I think
Mhm. It's very doable.
you can justify that for a Snapchat Plus, and you're getting all of these new features coming out, and they're cool and exciting and show off new things. And they're incorporating AI. So they're on top of all the trends. They're doing it right.
Exactly. Yeah, no, Snapchat's always been like one of my faves. And we've talked about this before, but like their AR, their augmented reality stuff, it really is pretty cutting edge for a lot of like filter, as far as filter goes. If you look into Snap and Snap Camera, you can actually go in and like 3D model and create your own filters on a completely separate platform. You can download a full app for Snap.
Oh, okay.
And like, yeah, you can create like meshes, you can create expressions, you can create really really cool stuff, and it's not that difficult to do, but it really like enables a lot of flexibility with kind of almost pro tools. I think you might be able to do it with Meta, I'm not sure, but Snap has always gone above and beyond when it comes to this. They were doing AR and playing around with AI in like, I don't even know, 2017, 2018.
Mhm.
So before it was mainstream. But like the other takeaway to this is the fact that these apps using AI in them is only further exposing this movement, if you will, the technological future of where we're at, further exposing it to more and more future generations. So if you're not already kind of playing around or knowledgeable on what's happening with AI, like I urge you to educate yourself even in a
Mhm.
minimalistic way, because let me tell you right now, kids who are like 16, 17 years old are going to be like AI engineers. And like
Yeah.
there's probably so many of them that are already like making money with AI tools, and they're going to be so native and fluent in how AI works because they have it on apps like Snapchat, and they're
Mhm.
exposed to Chat GPT at an early age, and they're doing it on TikTok already. And I'm sure Meta has a new one, which I should talk about too. I forgot to include that one in the newsletter. These AI tools are everywhere, you guys. And to show you the breadth of how like immersed they already are, just go open any social app on your phone or your
Yep.
kid's phone these days and see, because if Snapchat tells us anything, it's that this shit is everywhere. It really truly is. It is cool to see them playing around with it. I'm into
Mhm.
it. Gotta say it. What was that? Oh, segment anything. That's what it is. Segment anything model. So Meta AI released the segment anything model, which is called SAM, SAM, which is basically a new like AI tool that you can use to cut out any object, either an image or in a video, with only just like a single click. Like you just click on it and it uses AI to basically like background remove whatever it is. So it's kind of handy. I played around with it a little bit on Friday. I think it's still in beta. I'll link it up in the newsletter too so that you guys have it and you can always go back and reference this. Our newsletter archives, which are all in Substack, so you can go back and
Mhm.
read this
This
version.
looks cool. Yeah.
It's the first like rollout from Meta, and it's super powerful. It can like really identify individual like very specific objects and items within an image. So handy for not only like actually clipping stuff, but identifying like what something is as well. So definitely
Mhm.
play around with it. This is the first big rollout from Meta, when they've been talking about playing around with AI for quite a while. So excited to see what else comes from that. Tell us some of these AI horror stories though, because there is the dark side of AI, you guys, that we touch on every now and then, but it's
Mhm.
always helpful to come back and be reminded that like this shit is very powerful and you have to be responsible. There has to be ethical guidelines in place to use it. I'm a strong advocate of that. And it doesn't always go that way though. There are bad actors. So let's
Yeah.
tell us some of the recent AI warnings that we've been seeing.
Yeah, so YouTuber, I think it's Grand Day is how his username is pronounced. But I do not know which one that they are, but he received a copyright strike from Universal Music Publishing Group for using AI to craft Eminem inspired rhymes about cats. So they have a copyright strike, and it's like, oh, if you get so many more on YouTube, you're going to get kicked off the platform. So that is the first one. So be careful if you're using AI to emulate someone else. It could get you in trouble on YouTube.
Especially celebrity recognition. There's been some issues around that with like Getty Images and some other, even like some press and PR people for like celebrities or like famous people, because Midjourney allows you to generate images of celebrity likenesses. So people can like go around and like create like the whole Marvel's universe superheroes and then go like post that somewhere, and you'll probably get like Marvel or Disney coming after you and being like, no, no, no.
No. Yeah.
So keep that shit in mind.
And the second one is, this one's actually kind of bad.
Yeah.
But ChatGPT falsely accused Hepburn Shires, which is mayor, which is somewhere in Australia. His name is Brian Hood, of serving time in prison over a bribery scandal tied to the Reserve Bank of Australia. The actual truth is that Hood was the whistleblower who exposed everyone behind that scandal. So now he's considering legal action, or he has actually lawyered up and sent a letter of concern to OpenAI late last month, basically thinking about suing OpenAI for defamation. So under Australian law, the company has 28 days from receiving the letter to fix the issue, or he can take them to court. And Hood isn't the only one affected. ChatGPT also fabricated a sexual harassment scandal involving George Washington University's law professor Jonathan Turley, and it cited a non-existent Washington Post article as evident. And of course, this professor was not happy about that. So incidents like that definitely raise questions about whether or not you can hold a chat bot accountable and responsible for defamation, or if it's if it's the company that gets held accountable, or where exactly the fault lies for false statements like this that can actually that can harm someone's livelihood, their life, where if this starts blowing up everywhere and they're like, oh, ChatGPT told me, it doesn't necessarily look great for either person, for ChatGPT or the person who's being falsely accused by ChatGPT. So yeah, those are a couple scary stories.
All I know is that I would not want to be working at OpenAI right now.
Yeah.
I'm sure over there right now is just like fire drill after fire drill after lawsuit after lawsuit after countries banning you after like it's just the list goes on and on. They have a lot of work under their boots right now, so I wish.
Yeah, because here's another one. So the corporate, I don't know if you've heard about it, but Samsung employees accidentally leaked sensitive company information through ChatGPT in 3 different instances. One employee inputted the source code for a malfunctioning database into ChatGPT. Another employee revealed proprietary code to try and fix defective equipment. Another one submitted an entire meeting to the chatbot for minutes, and I guess somehow that got leaked to somewhere.
Oh my god.
So Samsung had to implement emergency measures and restrict all the employees' prompts to 124 bytes to try to mitigate leaks.
Wow.
So if you are using ChatGPT for your corporate company, or you just simply want to protect your privacy and your data while using ChatGPT, we have the link to a form built by OpenAI, and it's basically instructing OpenAI to not collect your data.
Yes.
So if that is something that is concerning to you, definitely fill out this form.
It's an interesting topic to dissect. I won't go deep into it, but this whole new frontier that we're facing as creators, consumers, and collectors of data with AI tools, there's going to be the question, it's already being raised, of who owns this data? You're putting all of this data into ChatGPT. Does that mean that they're archiving and making that data accessible? Are they using it for training models, especially sensitive corporate information, business trade secrets, whatever it is? Definitely be wary of some of that stuff, because we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know. I know that we talked about this OpenAI letter. Was it last week or the week before? There was this whole open letter. I keep calling it OpenAI letter, but the open letter on AI of
Mhm.
like, let's put the brakes on doing any more research and development and making any more progress on any AI models stronger than GPT-4 or more
Yeah.
developed than GPT-4, right? So,
Yeah.
what additional context do we have to go into today?
So we broke it down in the newsletter a little more, but it was signed by over 20,000 individuals like Elon Musk and top AI experts. So it's basically calling for a 6-month halt on, like you said, anything that's more developed or advanced than OpenAI's GPT-4. So their aim, or what they are claiming is their aim for this open letter, is to, establish ground rules so we don't prevent, or we do prevent, a like
Mhm.
Black Mirror-esque reality, which would be terrifying.
Mhm.
I hate that show. So, of course, advanced AI carries risks. We can all agree to that. We just gave you some examples that show off some of those risks. But I think the decision to like pause research is definitely going to be an argument. I don't think it's actually going to happen. I guess the letter itself highlights like the concerns specifically about AI displacing humans from fulfilling jobs. So it's urging the government to enforce this pause and then collaborate with whoever is signing this letter on AI regulations. There's definitely people who are not on board with the pause, and one of those is Bill Gates, of course, the founder of Microsoft, which has a stake in OpenAI. And he states that the pause won't really solve any problems with AI, and that a pause is going to be unenforceable. It's not going to happen. I mean, he has money in the game, but there are some people
Mhm.
that don't have money in the game that's kind of questioning the practicality, sorry, of a global pause. There's some people talking about how we might need a longer pause than 6 months, or
Mhm.
this pause isn't actually going to address all of the current issues that
Mhm.
that we have with AI. So it's basically just like one big argument, and everyone going back and forth on
Yeah.
whether or not anything should not happen, what should happen. Yeah.
It's like a mess right now. I think a big part of it is like everyone is scrambling. A lot of these like big corporate tech companies also I think are scrambling to figure out how to like not miss the boat on this and how to make it part of their own enterprise offering or what have you, their own workflows before, the competitors do. There's that. I think that there's also the implication of like the social parts of it.
Mhm.
Like everything from schools and teachers of how they're dealing with that to students and of course to like social workers and corporate workers as well. Like it just spans the gamut of use cases. And then there's also like the ethical concerns, the misinformation, and needless to say something is going to have to be done, and whether that is something that comes out of a potential 6-month pause, which I can't necessarily advocate for. I would love to have that happen, but it's not
Nice to
enforceable.
catch up. Yeah,
Yeah, it would
it's
be
just
nice.
not
Like,
gonna
we could all
happen.
get on board, but it's not gonna happen.
Not in the US.
Exactly. And this stuff is going to continue, like, rapidly developing. So I think some sort of universal, independent, I don't know, what would that be called? Like a committee, like whatever,
A
like a
board,
United
yeah.
Nations type of situation on ChatGPT, the United
Yeah.
GPT, because that's what needs to happen. And it can't just be segmented, I think, to like one part of the globe or one part of the country or one part of the world. It needs to be an effort of solidarity in order for that to make any progress. Whether there's a pause or not, I don't know, but maybe there will be some level of like standardization or some rules to live by, at least when it comes to
Right.
stuff, because it's developing so fast, you guys. It's
Mhm.
crazy.
Mhm.
It is crazy. Well, did we cover it all?
I think so. I had a couple other things to kinda, like, lighten the
Yes.
mood after talking about that. There is something
Yes.
called Cat GPT,
I'm
which
here
I
for it.
love.
Mhm.
Please try it. It's
I'm gonna try it
literally
right now.
you ask it a question, and it just sends you cat gifs and talks like meow, 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 meow. It doesn't say real words, it just says meow.
Oh,
Um,
cute.
it's adorable. It's
And
fun.
it
So if
looks
you need,
just
like,
like ChatGPT.
yeah, exactly. So if you need a little break from actual Chat GPT and you want some cat videos, just
Oh,
go
I
there.
love it.
And then another link we have in the newsletter is a link to a meme generator. And if you haven't seen all over social media the recreations of the new Barbie movie poster,
Yes, everywhere.
it's being remade over and over with the tagline, "She's everything, he's just Ken," which is
Yeah.
I love. So this meme is having a moment of its own, and if you want to jump in on it, we have the link to the meme generator that makes it super easy to do that, and also a picture of potatoes
You.
on the Barbie poster. So go check that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, so cute. Okay, I'm already doing the Barbie
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. So we needed
This
some fun
Barbie
stuff
is
in
the
there.
boss. All right. Well, I think we covered everything. Substack, you
Mhm.
won't be seeing any tweets on there anytime soon. You can still follow us on Twitter if you would like, but definitely follow us on Substack. You can do that just by
Please.
subscribing. A reminder again, it's the sauce FFS, like Frank Sally.substack.com. And then one other thing that I did want to just like add on to the end of this, if you are still listening, thank you so much. I love you so much. I am launching my first ever course and it's on designing, especially if you are a non-designer. It's for designing for your brand. It's called Design Like a Boss, a non-designer's guide to visual branding. And there's 5 parts. I teach you everything you need to know about design principles from color theory and balance and space and contrast all the way to actually putting it together and creating a brand style guide for yourself. It's especially helpful for like entrepreneurs, creators, small businesses who maybe don't have the time and resources to either like go out and learn all about design or hire a designer to do it all for you. This is just a great way to wrap your brain around what you need to know when it comes to branding yourself visually and some tips and tricks to do it. Tons of templates, different worksheets. There's 5 modules. I think I mentioned that, like 15 hours of content. It's a great thing. So it's launching in the next couple weeks and the waitlist is now open. I will include the waitlist link. I guess I could do it in this description of this podcast. Hopefully you can access it from there. If not, you can find it on our website, which is thesauce.foodfightstudios.com. I also have it listed up on Twitter in my bio, so you can find me at SpaceCaseTay on Twitter. And yeah, if you sign up for the waitlist right now too, you get 20% off of the launch pricing, which is pretty good. Check it out, see what it's about, see if you like it a little bit, and hopefully you can let me know. You know, we can talk it through. All right, dude. Thank you so much, Anna, for taking a lovely evening stroll through social media lane with me tonight and AI. And we'll be back again. We'll be back again next week, same time, same place. Thank you for all of our listeners. Don't forget to check us out and subscribe to us even on YouTube if you're watching this live. So, all right, Anna, have a wonderful evening. I'm going to go ahead and shut it down.
Bye, guys.
Hey guys, that's a wrap for this week's episode of the Sauce Pod. Hope you enjoyed yourself, maybe even learned a thing or two. Don't forget, you can subscribe to us on YouTube. You can also subscribe to our newsletter that goes out every Monday night. All of the latest and greatest tips, news, and trends for content creators and digital entrepreneurs. Until next time, stay saucy.